Listen, let me tell you something. A lot of people in this industry don't like me. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't like me as a little girl, Shannon. I'm so used to this shit. People didn't like me because I was going to tell it. I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell on you. So what you saying right now is the same thing you getting. They tried to fight my ass in the 12th grade, Shannon. They surrounded me, a group of them. Okay? Wanted to fight on me. Why? Because I told the truth.
You know, to be 100% honest, I literally thought you were like pranking me, like making a joke of me. I did. I was like, oh my god, it's like Mean Girls. Like they were like making fun of me.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Okay? I'm a person for right.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And if you tell me something and you say, Monique, I've done something to somebody, but don't say nothing. Shannon, I'm going to need you to fix that. Because if you don't fix it, I'm going to have to tell that because it's wrong. So when she tells me this is not his baby, but I'm going to tell him it's his baby, I can't let you do that. That's not right. Wow. So what I stand for is right.
You were talking about how you don't want to cling to another creator like impulsive. That is smart. Like it's good to like I always did that with like Shane or Jeffrey or anybody. Like you go with bigger collaborators to get an audience, but like you don't make it your whole personality. You know? Like following him around and stuff like that.
Yeah, because then they fuck up and it's on you.
I was put in a very bad position by Jeffree Star that I don't feel like I deserve to be in. To where I was told things that I'm either silent about and then therefore in a way complicit with some really messed up crap, or I speak about and then put my shit on the line.
And I think where we run into a problem in our community, in our group, we get so caught in, well, that's not your place, but you see wrong happening, right? So when you see wrong happening, what you do?
Blair and I dated. We were a couple for a decent chunk of time. As in the process of dating her, there were a lot of things which I bore witness to.
No, you know how that fucking cool guy table at the lunchroom is with the vlog squad where it's all like, anybody that's out of that group, they get talked. You know how things go. Yeah, because when you get banished from that group, you have to be like, look at them, they're going crazy. They're the bad ones. They f***ed up that they had to get banished from our group. But nope, look at us now. We weren't crazy, you were crazy, motherfucker.
So when you see wrong happening, what you do?
Honestly, Monique, if somebody say, well, Shannon, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to tell you this in confidentiality, and I don't want to go any further than me, you, and this table.
Yes.
It stays with me, him, and the table.
Well, let me say this. I would say before you tell me, did you hurt somebody?
Okay, yes.
Before you tell me, is this something that would make me question your character? Before you tell me, you got to be clear about what you get ready to tell me. Because if you're getting ready to tell me something and I know that you've done something wrong, I know that you're wrong, and I not say anything. That's why people are allowed to keep harming people for years to come.
One thing I learned from the years it took me to speak up about my own instance of rape is that one thing that's very hard for me to personally live with is knowing that there might have been people after me that were victimized by the man who hurt me because I didn't want to say anything.
See Harvey Weinstein?
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of people that knew what was happening.
But they felt it wasn't their place.
Your story is wild. I always will say that. Like, yours is actually the wildest thing I've ever heard. And it's like actually crazy to me that people like don't talk about it more, how it is just like swept under the rug. Like he's just doing shows and...
It's tough going up against somebody that's really beloved and has such a loyal audience. There's people in groups with influencers that are huge and...
Running around, telling these people like it's hot, fun, gossip, whatever. And like I said before, it's not to me. It's serious to me.
They just are attached to them and they don't want to get out of it because they love what comes along with it.
But they felt it wasn't their place.
It wasn't them. Right, until it becomes you. So I think the moment we get into a space, and I was in the 11th grade at the time, okay? But when we get into a space where we say, listen, if I know you're doing wrong, and I take a position that's not my place, eventually you will succumb to what you support.
Like, I lost so many brand deals when he organized those assaults,
Yeah, well, that was bad. That was...
Because my name's attached to it. You Google my name, if you go to whatever, you're going to see pictures with me and this guy who's done all these terrible things. And, publicists and stuff don't want to work with me because I'm attached to him still. And it sucks,
My own partner, the person who was supposed to be my other half, was actively putting me in a position where she was chipping away at my mental health. I was afraid to tell anyone what was happening because she had convinced me that I was a parasite. Something to note, when you're around Blair, your world revolves around her. In my case, my home was hers, despite her name not being on it. I had no friends out in Colorado, a state that I moved to at the behest of Blair. Only Blair's friends were out here. All of my connections had to be approved by her. I wasn't allowed to be friends with people she didn't like, such as Click in One Topic, or even Wonder, once that bridge was burned and reduced to cinders. I was even in a position where my finances were nearly entirely controlled by her, from what debts I took on to later being the fact that she was the person who signed my paychecks. All while my world was painted to me in a light where I should be grateful for her generosity.
But when we get into a space where we say, listen, if I know you're doing wrong and I take a position that's not my place, eventually you will succumb to what you support. I'm going to tell. See, I'm that. I'm going to tell him what you said. So we clear. I'm going to tell him what you said because that's not right.
Oh my goodness, Mo.
See, I think that's the problem that we're dealing with right now, Shannon.
Okay.
When we know something is wrong, everything Cat Williams sat here and said,
Right.
we all know it to be the truth. However, we get so caught up in, well, I ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
Well, can you believe he said it? Or can you?
Or it's the messenger.
It's the messenger, baby. We get so caught up in the messenger that we'll overlook the message. We should just be grateful we got invited to the party.
Right.
We should just be grateful that someone paid us attention. I've dealt with that my whole life. I've dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to a space where you say, listen, I want to be free.
I'm scared to say names. I'm scared to reveal what I know. But at the same time, how do I hold on to it knowing there's more victims potentially? If someone's just getting away with it.
I want to be free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to walk around intimidated, scared, fearful. What might happen? What they gonna what they gonna say? What they gonna do? If it's your story and it's the truth, tell it. Because what you can do is be in a position to prevent it happening to someone else over and over and over again.
If this is the right thing to do, if this is where your heart is, then there's no other question. All the consequences, this person having, influence or power or whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's the right thing to talk about, it's the right thing to talk about. So I'm just gonna do it. And maybe he feels like all these YouTubers are in his back pocket and everyone's scared of him. And you know what? I was scared. And even making this video right now, I'm scared. When I go to hit the upload button, I'm gonna be scared. But I'm gonna upload it and I'm gonna post it.
So if I go back to the 11th grade with that sister who's no longer with us, rest her with that sister, I would do that again. Because if you tell me something and we know it's wrong, but you're gonna pin that on somebody else, is that right?
Group chat.
Group chat.
Group chats are handy.
Multiple people.
Toxic text messages. Have you ever gotten a toxic text message?
A DM I got from someone who's in that group chat threatening me.
If you want to convey info to multiple people all at once, right?
And I'm in a Skype group chat that contains like 20 people, and a lot of those people are pretty big YouTubers.
I needed to get out of that group. There's people in groups with influencers that are huge.
You will find that a content creator in your lane that you've discovered who you might want to collab with, become friends with, you might even find enjoying their content and becoming sort of a fan of in a way, already hates you before you even know their name or before you even knew they exist.
Whenever I was like, oh, maybe she's just taking a moment, not talking to me, she was trying to ruin me within the fandom and get people to turn on me and call me someone that was just trying to take her down.
I don't think a lot of people are going to trust me moving forward.
Well, you did just sell out your community.
It was not like that at all. And this was before I ever posted any video.
But after I say in the group chat that I'm going to make a video about him, he magically hits me up.
There's almost nothing that you can do when there's a person like this in your community to protect yourself enough.
And they just need to know that all this is happening.
I was made to feel crazy. No one's believing me.
In their ear constantly, in their DMs, trying to manipulate them or get them to run with certain stories.
Because I have dirt on everyone, and they know to keep their mouths shut.
Use my platform that way. I don't use my platform that way. Because I got fucking files on top of files to swing back at.
You said you don't use your platform that way, but then you threaten to use your platform that way.
I no longer love this platform.
Everybody wants to get rich, and they don't care if their fans suffer.
Thinking that they were the only ones.
And she took all the credit for it. I never once got credit for it. I never once got paid for it. I never once got the job that I was promised I was gonna get.
He's paying off people for silence. He's paying people to say certain things.
People usually fear where their next check's going to come from, if they're going to fall off, if their career's going to come to an end and they're not going to have an audience anymore.
Because it was very disturbing.
If you are a small YouTuber, you're going to get a big fucking sub boost from it. And guess what? I won't let you fucking forget it. I will hold that shit over your head.
How many other people know this and know that this is the truth?
They're like, dude, he's done this in the past. He's done this before.
I think people are afraid to speak out against the hand that feeds them.
People don't talk about it more, how it is just swept under the rug.
But you know this is wrong.
It was very hurtful to see the stuff coming out.
There was nothing that I could have done to avoid this situation.
There are people talking on Reddit, critiqued by these strangers. They're not used to our lifestyle. We're numb to that.